Greetings, it's the New York Thrifter, and today I am at a new to me Goodwill. This is a Goodwill in northern New Jersey on Route 22, and it opened up about 2 years ago. I've never been in because on opening weekend, I drove there, which takes, I want to say, maybe 35 or 40 minutes, and they closed because they had some sort of electrical problem where the lights weren't going on. And I remember getting really discouraged. And I was like, well, I'm not coming back. And I haven't since then. But I was in the area on Thursday doing some chores and I decided to hop in. I didn't think it was going to be that great because it's a little bit out of the way, but I was definitely proven wrong. Some of the highlights that I found while I was there is this Sundance top. It's a beautiful floral spring design. It is made out of silk. And Sundance has quite a following on eBay. Whenever I see it, I always like to get it. It usually sells within the first couple of days for me. I bought this shirt for $6.99 and I plan on listing it for $34.99. So quite a good flip there. The second piece that I found, I was going through the blazers as I do, and I found this jacket, and it is by a Japanese designer named Yoji Yamamoto. And he is a very exclusive designer, very high-end brand, and he is known for making men's clothing for women, is what he calls it. So he uses his tailoring skills that he learned back in the 70s and 80s when he launched his line and makes kind of that menswear suit look for women. And he also has a more modern line, which is called Y3. He's done some collaborations with Adidas that also does very well. But this is an original piece by Yoji, and it is probably from the mid-90s, so it would be considered vintage. Now, it is a long black jacket made out of wool. I did pay up for it. It was $16.99. I don't mind paying that, though, because online they sell for between $100 and $150. I am going to have to get it dry cleaned, so you can add another $10, $15 to my cost of goods for that. I am going to list this one high. A lot of times I kind of go the other way and I list things low to sell it quickly. I don't want to sell this one quickly. I would love having this in my store. So I'm going to probably end up listing it for around maybe $170, put best offer on it and see what happens. This is Tibby brand, and new dresses, especially the silk dresses, can sell for between $600 and $1,000. But you just don't get quite that return online. A used dress would be probably $20 or $30 on eBay. This is a silk black and white sheath dress, and they wanted $14.99 for it, so I had to pass it up. If it was half off, I probably would have gotten it, but I left it behind just because it seemed a little bit high priced. James Coviello is a designer best known for his Anthropologie collaboration. This I don't believe was part of his Anthro collab. This is a color block dress, and they wanted $9.99, and it actually had a stain on it, and so I did leave it behind. Even if it didn't have the stain, I still might have left it though, because the return on this on eBay is probably only about $30. Also, I have a shirt in my store from this designer that is the Anthropologie collab. It's like a patchwork, short sleeve, kind of almost sweatshirt material. And it absolutely gets no attention. And so this is a brand, while it's beautiful and you would definitely want to wear it yourself, resale just might not be there. Karl Lagerfeld Paris is deceptive. Karl Lagerfeld is an absolute icon. He recently passed away, but not only an icon in the fashion world, but just in pop culture in general. You know, the long ponytail, gray ponytail, the big sunglasses, the giant gold necklaces he would wear. He really was iconic, a really important person in the fashion industry. This is a houndstooth dress, and by looking at that label, you can tell it's not an original Karl. Instead, this is a diffusion line sold at discount department stores like Neiman Marcus Last Call and Saks Off Fifth. Dresses usually sell for around $100 brand new. Online, much less than that during resale. And so I did not pick this one up. And I would caution people, when you see the Karl Lagerfeld name, you kind of want to jump on it because he is such a large name in the industry. But the Paris line is one that I would recommend staying away from. Now, this absolutely bright, fabulous pattern dress is by Clover Canyon. This is a newer brand. They launched around 2011. This is just a bodycon dress, very bold print. They wanted $19.99. And so that was way too high in my estimation to flip this online. A pre-owned dress from Clover Canyon selling on eBay usually goes for about $30 or $40, but with a $20 price tag from the thrift store, I had to let it go. Vanessa Virginia is an Anthropologie line. This is a fit and flare black and blue floral print dress. It was a size 0, which is, as we know, not the best size. There's a lot less women wearing 0s out there than there are wearing 12s and 14s. Still, you would be able to sell it. It might sit for a while. Goodwill wanted $9.99. I did end up passing this up, even though it's exactly to my taste. Comps on it looked around maybe $20 to $40, but it probably would have sat for a little bit, and I'm looking for a little bit faster of a flip. J. McLaughlin is one of my favorite brands to sell in women's clothing, and I don't think I've ever had a piece in my store that's lasted more than a week or two. They have this particular material. It's called Catalina cloth, where it's made out of a very stretchy material. And people just absolutely love it. They're willing to pay between $40 and $60 for a shirt or a dress. And this particular dress, however, it's a sleeveless shift dress with an ocean scene coral on it. It was not made out of Catalina cloth. Instead, it was made out of a stretch cotton. The comps on their stretch cotton in J. McLaughlin is between $20 and $25. They wanted $12.99, so I did pass this up. When you factor in fees and the time it's going to take me to photograph and list, I just didn't see the profit being there. If this was half off, around maybe $6.50 or $7, I probably would have grabbed it. Vera Wang for me is very hard to sell because she does have a partnership with Kohl's where she has a less expensive line, and a lot of people will be reselling that on eBay, and it's hard to differentiate between the more expensive Vera Wang line and the less expensive. And so when I mark my pieces up, they don't really move very quickly because people, I don't think they're really understanding what they're getting. But I did end up picking up this navy blue shift dress, and the reason for that is I'm going to send it into Thread Up Luxe, where the average payout is going to be between $20 and $40 for this particular brand and style. Now, I paid $9.99 for it. I am going to steam it to refresh the fabric, and then I'm going to fold it up nicely, put it in a box, and send it into Thread Up. Even if my return is only $20, that's a $10 bill for essentially putting a dress in a box. And so I'm definitely willing to do that. Love Diane von Furstenberg. I especially love her wrap dresses, and black is so classic. It can really go anywhere from the office to a date. This would have been an amazing pickup if it didn't have a flaw. I didn't think that I would be able to fix the rip that it had in it right next to the tie waist. There was a rip. I probably could have taken it into a seamstress and gotten it fixed, but it seemed like it was going to take a lot of time, and honestly, it would have just ended up in my death pile. So I'm hoping that somebody that really loves DVF is going to find this, fix it themselves, and just wear it everywhere. If you do find a black wrap dress by this brand, it does flip for about $60 to $70 online, so it can be worth your time. This is a Rami Brook dress, and it is a purple drop waist, and it is the absolute softest material I have literally ever felt in my life. As I was going through the rack, I felt it before I saw this dress, and it is luxury defined. Now, they wanted $9.99. I decided that I absolutely had to get it. I looked at comps while I was in the store, and I found that pretty much this exact dress sold for $29 on best offer. Now, I really think that that person undersold it a bit, because if you scroll a little bit further back, a few days before they sold theirs, another similar dress sold for $85 on eBay. So I'm probably going to list this pretty high, probably maybe $79.99, maybe $69.99 with best offer to see who's looking for this particular dress. And finally, I did go through the shoes. I don't spend a lot of time in shoes. I don't particularly like listing them. I have boxes and boxes of shoes, as you've probably seen in my storage unit, that have gone unlisted. And so I am very, very particular about them. I did end up picking up these Tory Burch shoes, and they were a mess. I only spent, they were $8.99 half off because they were the color of the day. So I spent very little on them. And the whole idea behind me picking these up is I want to do kind of an experiment. I have some different shoe dyes and different ways of reviving leather that I want to try out. And I feel like these would be the perfect pair to do that on. I spent very little on them, but if my experiment works out and I'm able to brighten them up and kind of revive them, Tory Burch sells very quickly for a lot of money. And so if these were in good condition, good used condition, Tory Burch flats go for about $50 on eBay. Once I fix these up, if I'm able to get them looking nice, I'll probably let them go for around 30 or 35 and just disclose anything that I do to the pair of shoes to make sure the buyer understands what they're getting. So in the end, I regret that I had not gone to this Goodwill sooner. Don't let some salty feelings get in your way of thrifting and making that money. And so I'm going to be taking these pieces and hopefully getting them up soon. But now we are on to what I sold. After I got back from the Goodwill, I did make a run to the post office where I had 3 sales from the day before. First up was a pair of Rock Revival jeans, and these were hemmed, so I let them go for $25 on best offer plus $4.99 in shipping. I also sold this Fashion Bug plus size top for $8.99 free shipping, and this new with tags Melissa McCartney for $7 top, and this was absolutely beautiful. It was in a great teal color, and it had like a ruffle at the bottom. I did sell this on best offer for $15 with $2.99 in shipping. That gives me a total of $56.97 in sales for the day, and that does not include any fees or what I'm going to pay to ship the items. Now, as you'll notice, I did not sell any of my wholesale here. I am working on listing a wholesale lot of Victoria's Secret. I only listed 3 yesterday, even though my goal has been 20 a day. Because I only listed 3, I feel like that contributed to not making any sales for that particular brand. However, anybody that's paying attention at home to my listing, you will be happy to hear that I made my goal of 20 today, so we'll see tomorrow if I can get some of this Victoria's Secret moving. And to end the video, I wanted to stop here with a question from one of my viewers. They asked, do I offer free returns? The answer to this is absolutely not. Now, if somebody does open a not as described case against me, I will of course make the return and do everything in my power to make that right for the buyer. But after listing the item's material, measurements, as well as photos of my piece, I figure if the buyer has regrets or if it doesn't fit them, then that's on them to ship it back to me. So I do take 30-day returns on most items. The intimate apparel in my shop, I do not take returns on, but for the clothing in general, I will. I wanted to show you something that happened to me today. I did get a return. This is a dress that I sold right before I started vlogging. I sold this Vince dress, and this is a silk dress. I sold it on best offer for $30. I shipped it out to the buyer. They opened a not as described case against me, saying that it had a really bad smell. So of course I accepted it. I paid for a shipping label to have them send it back to me, and I received it in the mail today. I opened it up and I smelled it, and to me there was no discernible odor to it. And so either the buyer noticed something that I didn't, or they had regrets in buying it, wanted their money back, and opened a not as described, so I have to pay the return shipping. Either way, it doesn't matter. This is business. And when you're selling on a platform like eBay, you follow their business terms, which means you pay for shipping on items returned in this way. Sometimes they're legit, sometimes they're not, but you're a reseller online, and this is how this type of commerce works. So, kind of a little bit of a bummer there at the end, but don't feel bad for me because I know that I've got more sales coming, and I had a really great day visiting that new Goodwill, and I will be back tomorrow. I think I'm packing my box for the real online consignment tomorrow. So I'll show you some of the designer pieces that I plan to send in. So definitely tune in for that, and I will see everyone tomorrow.